Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of the Ranch Report where transparency lives. Today is Thursday, April the 2nd, 2026, and my name is Mark Falcone. Thank you all for joining me today. I continue to hear from many of you regarding your enthusiasm for this podcast, and I just want to let you know that I very much appreciate that enthusiasm and your support for this channel, so thank you. I have some wonderful news to share with all of you today, news that I believe will benefit every single one of us here at EHR. But before I share that good news, let me just say that the views, thoughts, and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the host, yours truly, and may not reflect the views, thoughts, and opinions of East Highlands Ranch Board of Directors, or their managing agent, the Management Trust. All right, so for any of you that have lived in EHR for any length of time, you know that the property consists of several concrete trails that are throughout the entire campus. And the largest of these trails, largest in terms of size and in terms of use, is the Ranch Meadows Pathway. And this trail begins on the southern end of the property near the pool at Love Street. It traverses north, passing the Stone House and the Resident Support Center. It goes over the Wood Bridge and then finally terminates at the lake right there at Clover Hill. And this Ranch Meadows Pathway intersects two busy streets, the first being on the southern end of the property at Water Street, and the second being on the northern part of the property at Baseline Street. And it is the Baseline Crosswalk that I really want to focus on today and share with you the good news that a safety enhancement will soon be installed at this crosswalk. So for those of you that use this pathway, which is probably the vast majority of you listening to this podcast, you know firsthand the level of difficulty and the challenges you face in getting across this crosswalk. There are 12,000 vehicles that use Baseline Street every day. So you don't know, number one, if these motorists will see you, and number two, if they do see you, will they stop and yield, or will they continue to haul tail past you, exceeding the 40-mile-an-hour posted speed limit? I know firsthand, like many of you, I have made it halfway across, and I have gotten stuck in the median of the center divider there of the crosswalk, waiting for cars on the opposite end to see me and stop or to continue on. So it's very tenuous at best, very challenging, extremely dangerous, and it's an accident waiting to happen, in my opinion. So because of this, about 6 months ago, the beginning of September, I reached out to the city of Highland. Specifically, I reached out to Carlos Zamano, the city manager, and Octavio Duran, the public works director. And I want to be very clear that I reached out to these two individuals as a private citizen representing myself and not in my capacity as a director of the EHR board. And when I reached out to Carlos and to Octavio, I requested that the city provide some type of safety enhancement at this crosswalk, and I provided several reasons as to why. My recommendation that the city would install what is called the in-roadway lighting system, similar to what you see at the intersection of Clubview Drive and Green Spot, as well at the intersection of Church Street and Love Street, right there by Arroyo Verde Elementary School. And I've got to tell you that Carlos and Octavio were very receptive, very responsive, and extremely supportive of installing a safety enhancement at this Baseline crosswalk. They did not favor the in-roadway lighting system only because, based upon their experience, the maintenance costs were prohibitive. I was told that when one light would go out in the system, they would have to replace the entire series of lights in the roadway. So it became cost prohibitive. Instead, Carlos and Octavio proposed installing what is called a rectangular rapid flashing beacon system. And this is a new system that is being used across the country. And I believe the city has 2, maybe 3 that are currently in use on the west side of town. So this would be the first one installed on the east side of the city. And I'll show you a screenshot here of what I'm talking about here momentarily. But what this is, it's an apparatus, a rectangular apparatus that is installed right below the pedestrian sign. And housed in this component are 2 high-intensity LED lights that when the pedestrian engages the system, these lights flash alternately. And where these are installed nationally, the statistics show that pedestrian accidents have been reduced by 47%. And get this, motorist yielding rates have increased to as high as 98%. So this system seems to be very, very effective. The concern with installing this system at the baseline crosswalk is, number one, the city didn't really want to go with a hardwire system only because of cost. They wanted to do it via a solar panel. But because of the number of trees that overlay this crosswalk, the concern was that some trees would need to be removed. The city hired a vendor to come out to do a site survey. This contractor reported back that they can certainly make this work without removing any trees, providing they install a taller, larger, more sturdier pedestrian sign that is capable of handling a larger solar panel on top. So that was very, very good news that no trees were being removed. So the Public Works Director, Octavio Duran, put together his presentation and presented it to the Public Works Subcommittee a couple of weeks ago. I received a phone call asking me to come out and if I wanted to speak on behalf of advocating for the system, which I did. I spoke briefly at the subcommittee meeting. And on the subcommittee were two councilmen, Councilman Larry McCallan, who happens to live here in East Highlands Ranch, and Councilman Gregory Hogan, who lives in District 1, which is on the far west of town. I advocated in support of staff recommending this project be approved, and I asked that these two councilmen approve it and take it to the full city council for approval. But much to my surprise, I found out that McCallan and Hogan had the ability to approve this project in committee, and that's exactly what they did. They approved this project, the rapid rectangular flashing beacon, be installed at the baseline crosswalk. So that is very good news for EHR, for the members of this community. It's not costing EHR a dime. It's not costing any of us any increased assessments. This will be fully funded by the city of Highland. And let me show you exactly what I'm talking about via a screen share here, so you get a visual of what the system's going to look like. It's due to be installed within 4 to 6 weeks. Then since we're at the beginning of April, that puts it at June, middle of June at the latest. So here we are. So here's the pedestrian sign. There's going to be a solar panel on top. These signs will be installed on both eastbound and westbound lanes of baseline. Where my cursor is, sitting right below the pedestrian sign, is the rectangular flashing beacon. And in this component are the two high-intensity LED lights that I spoke of. And once the pedestrian engages the system by pushing this button, these beacons will begin to flash on both sides of the street. And this is when we should see upwards of 98% yield rate by motorists. Let me stop the screen sharing here and come back. So again, this is very good news. This will benefit every single one of us, whether or not we use the pathway or not. Even as a motorist, it benefits us because now we have a visual that will instruct us to slow down and to stop, to yield and allow our fellow members to get across this crosswalk. As members that use this pathway and this crosswalk, it will provide significant confidence in being able to get across. I'm told that this system will be programmed at the normal walking rate of an individual, with some additional time added on the end to ensure that who's ever crossing will be able to get across safely before the beacon stops flashing. This is also a win-win for the city because it shows the city is very responsive and very supportive of meaningful safety requests. So by all means, if you get a chance and you feel compelled, contact the city and just thank them for this safety enhancement. Or if you want, you can send an email to Carlos Zamano at czamano, ZAMANO, at cityofhighland.org. And you can also send a thank you email to Octavio Duran at oduran, DURAN, at cityofhighland.org. So again, I'm very proud to bring this to you. This is a wonderful addition, a wonderful safety feature that's going to be added to this baseline crosswalk. So with that, just want to let you know about that. And switching gears here, I want to remind you that there is an upcoming board of directors election taking place in the month of May. Ballots will hit your home via your mailbox the last week of April. I think it's the beginning of April 26th. There are 4 candidates running for 2 seats. You've got the 2 incumbents, Gary Underwood and Bob Hamilton, that I call part of the ruling class that, in my opinion, need to be voted out. And in their place, I hope that you would give support to the 2 outsiders, that being Letitia Labrada as well as Joe Nash. So make sure you cast your 2 votes for Joe Nash and Letitia Labrada in the upcoming board of directors election of EHR. So that being said, I just want to thank you all again for tuning in and for the support that you provide this podcast. And if this is your first time seeing this podcast, and you're not on the distribution list, reach out to me, drop me a comment, drop me an email asking to be added to the distribution list, and I'll be more than happy to add you. So thank you for tuning in, and until the next time, thank you for watching the Ranch Report. Take care for now.